The reason I brought up COVID was because you had something to do with detection of COVID,
Yes.
which is an odd
And still
venture.
do, actually. And
Really?
still do.
Go on.
Yeah, so that is an interesting story as well, because when I came over 5 years ago, we looked at different areas of research, and one of them was using scent cognition. So the cool thing is that dogs can see their smell. So they have actually a neuronal connection between their smell and their occipital lobe, where your vision is, perceived.
So that's a
I've come across this
synesthesia,
before.
isn't it?
Say again, sorry.
A synesthesia, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So they can, at the end of the day, we can't do and perceive the world. We are visual, right? We are visual creatures.
Yes.
And I think this is part of why it was quite an interesting thing, because I think we had a solution for big events very early on by using sniffer dogs. So we used our knowledge from scent detection, and I had good contacts to behaviors at the German Armed Forces, and we published the first paper ever on that subject, which has been everywhere in the news, everywhere. It's just a very small paper, it was one of those COVID dreams. You submitted a paper, and a couple of days later it was published, because everyone was so, we need information, because everyone was bored at home and wanted to read something. Right. Yeah. And then we showed in multiple events that the dogs were able to sniff out samples with COVID. And the interesting thing as well was that there were so many countries, and also the UK, the medical detection dogs, which is a great charity, and I think you guys need to support. Is, they have done some great work there as well. And one thing in science, we talked earlier about the MCTs. I published something, and then we did the same study again, and so on. But it's rare that similar research is done multiple times and is confirmed. So there was, in very short period of time, many countries were working on the same thing and found exactly the same what we did, which, yeah. So I do think that dogs can smell samples of COVID. What do they smell? It's very difficult to know. We do know them when the virus is getting into the cell, they change the smell. I mean, vets, right? We know when we can smell when an animal has a certain infection, like a bladder infection. When they has a UTI, you can smell that the change. We can smell, if our loved ones are potentially sick. If you are working in a hospital, we walk into a room and you think like, there's something going on here. We have a perception as well. And the dogs, they could definitely sniff out the people with COVID.